Hello, everyone. We are coming back to the very interesting panel that is going to be led with a good friend of ours, Zoran Petrovic. We are going to talk about the topic on transformational power of advanced analytics and AI in banking. I would like to thanks once again everyone joining us live, but also as well virtually. We are having like more than 800 people right now watching us virtually, and on the last day we are going to have over 7,000 people joining us for Data Science Conference 2021 Open Day. Once again, I would like just to call everyone to take their welcome bags. We have prepared a lot of goodies. You can take it in the front of the hall, that direction. And we have prepared Change Roll Through Data, our own brand, t-shirts, caps, and everything that can be very, very cool. Without further ado, I would like to start with the panel. So, dear Zoran, it is my honor to have you as my guest at the Data Science Conference event. For the first time, hopefully not the last time. I can't recall a better fit for someone participating in the track called AI Use Case in Banking and Finance, who can give us a wide picture of the changes that had happened in the last 20 years. How much did analytics and AI change the way we do business in banking?
Well, first of all, thanks for the invitation. Might be boring for some people, you know, CEO of a bank talking about the things. To be honest, I'm an economist, so that's not my field, but I'm also a businessman. So there's a clear perspective, and not just a perspective. There's a lot of the banks are doing these days in the field of artificial intelligence and the advanced analytics. Just to give you a flavor, like during the 60s, the banks are heavy investing in technology. So 60s, we invested in the ATM, 70s, we invested in the, we came with credit cards, electronic payments. 2000 onwards, we came with the online banking 24/7. After 2010, we came up with the mobile app, the bank in your pockets. Clearly, I mean, the banks are on the hook for these things. And why? I mean, apart from the fact that we like to invest in technology, which is supposed to do at least two things. First of all, to improve the customer experience on the one hand side, on the other hand side, also to address some of the internal issues like efficiency in doing business, better OPEX, for instance. So I can hardly imagine now any serious project without using basically a technology that is related to advanced analytics or AI. I mean, these days, I would say there's a lot of things going on. We used a lot of this stuff in particular in the area of customer service. We use it in the area of risk management. We use it in the area of fraud, compliance, etc. I mean, the banks are pressed by the newcomers, by the new competitors, the neobanks, the fintechs, the big technological companies. Everybody wants to take a piece of our business, and yeah, you need to accommodate. And I think, you know, it's not easy for the legacy companies like banks or incumbent companies like banks, but I think there are very good examples of the banks who are basically able to adopt technology and really to become under the spotlight. Maybe to give you an example, I mean, I can hardly name right now any let's say a neobank, any online bank which is currently profitable. People are hooked, they're investing a lot of money, but let's see at what point of time they will start to return the investments to their shareholders. Contrary to that, you have the old style banking, I'm not going to give the marketing for Raiffeisen, but let's talk, for instance, about the bank I visited 3-4 years ago, which was the bank in Singapore, DBS.
Okay.
DBS, I mean, was like classical old slide bank, and the people were joking and using the abbreviation with the explanation of them bloody system, and you know, they've changed a lot. They went on a road for digital transformation somewhere back in 2013, 2014. There was a new CEO coming. The guy was used to working. He was coming from the IT industry. He was used to be a CEO of the city for the regions in Asia, involved first in payments, etc. And he basically understood that bank needs to transform and change the way they do business. And he basically started from himself. They came up with introducing different programs, teaching people about the new technologies, new approaches to business, and hop where they are. I mean, they are now 2-3 years ago, they became the most innovative bank in the world. And the NPS, which was like the thing that we are tracking a lot, because we care what people are saying about our services, what they think about our services. As a KPI, they were worst among Singapore banks. But in the meantime, after 5 years on the trip to through the digital transformation, they became the #1 bank when it comes to the NPS. So. A lot of things are ongoing, and as I said, like there are many examples and technology that are currently used in a different fields of the banking operation.
This sounds very interesting. I think this is a good introduction and intro for the what we are going to talk later. And basically, maybe like to just switch for a second on the regional markets. And my question is, in your opinion, is this regional market mature enough has matured enough in the last couple of years? And if yes, how much to start using AI in everyday operation, both from the side of banks and both from the side of users? Because we have two-way stories here.
Look, I mean, the region is always, to a large extent, lagging behind. You know, I may talk about our experience, so I'm less. To be honest, when I look at Serbia, I think there is not the time coming from the Raiffeisen, but I think that there is a huge gap between us and the competitors. Well, just to give you a flavor, like a couple of years ago, was it like, I don't know, 3-4 years ago, we were first on the market to come up with the solution that tackled the problem of a servicing of our customers. We are overburdened particularly in the call center. That was at the peak, you know, during the COVID crisis. Many people were calling. You know, there are a lot of things to be done, like moratorias. There are 1,000 and 1,000 customers that you need to serve. And what helped us a lot is the thing that we made together with one local company, where basically our people came with a lot of scripts, and with the company, we established the first virtual, basically, assistant here on the local market. Yes. It's our REA, and we have until today 400,000 unique users. I know when we started, those were quite they were like quite rarely, you know, you can find a customer using it. But as I say, like over the time, it really picked up. So many conversations. In the meantime, we develop a lot of different scenarios. It's bilingual. So it is helping us to address the burning issue that we have in our part of the bank, which is dealing with the contacting of the customers. So.
And my question to this is, you already answered to one of my questions that in which part Raiffeisen Bank has implemented the AI solution. I think that REA is something that is very cool. Because when you said in traditional markets, sometimes you have a sentence, okay, if the competitors didn't do that, why will we be the first one? But I can see that Raiffeisen is being a pioneer in a lot of things, being said in AI field. So my question is there something else you would like to mention from AI solution in Raiffeisen, and how important is this topic for the board of the bank?
I can maybe mention many initiatives that we have, particularly in the advanced analytics field and the usage of the machine learning models. So, to what extent it is important? I would say it is of a huge importance right now. I can hardly recall right now any really, a big project which involves some service or a product which is supposed to be end-to-end, without involvement of the advanced analytics and machine learning. So, I think, just to give you a flavor, like we established the two advanced analytics teams in the bank, comprising of 9 people. One team is dealing with the R&D for our bank, and the other team is dealing for the so-called PaaS initiatives that they are tackling the issues which are related to the retail business for the group. So we have some of these guys are here today with us, and I'm happy that today we have different people working from the data scientists, data engineers, etc., in the bank. I know it sounds maybe to some of you, silly, and but there are a lot of things that are sexy that are now happening in some parts of the corner in the banking industry. I'm not saying, I think that the gap is still huge here. I think, where we emerge on this innovation path a couple of years ago when we decided to start with our digital transformation journey.
Yeah, this sounds very interesting, and like I said, it is from somebody who is organizing conference. We are closely watching like what is happening in traditional industries such as telco and banking, and we can for sure see what the Raiffeisen has been doing, because that is what part of our research. That's why I have asked. But I would like to start with the second part of this panel and dealing between modern tech implementation and regulation. So my first question would be, one of the most regulated industry for sure is banking, and we know that. How big is of the bottleneck regulation may become when trying to implement modern technology? What is the experience of the Raiffeisen Bank on this matter?
Yeah, just maybe to just referring to the previous question, the role of the board. Yeah. is a huge one. We are really on board on these topics. We always discuss about where do we stand with our strategic roadmap, where do we stand in our transformation map, and where we are with the project that we are currently working on. So apart from that, of course, we regularly see people from the advanced analytics tribe who are working on different hypotheses. We are discussing these things, we are looking at the results, and what we try to achieve here is we try to have a better, to provide a better customer experience to people on the one hand side, and on the other hand side, when it comes to the processes, we try to be more efficient and cost saving. And at the end of the day, the ECG became a topic number one, and it's going to be a number one topic in many years. And I think with on the path towards the digital transformation, we also helping to reduce the CO2. So sorry for this one. So
no problem.
Can you please just repeat the question?
Of course, it's not a problem. Basically, how big of the bottleneck regulation may?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. On the regulation, look. The banks are, it's a tough thing, the banks are super regulatory businesses, and there is a lot of bureaucracy around, and on the top of everything you have the regulations which are coming from the supervisors, and quite often you have a situation, basically life is going on, there are no technologies that are emerging on the one hand side, on the other hand side you have the regulators that are lagging behind. So there you need to figure out how to find the right measure. But I think apart from close coordination between the people who are involved in the advanced analytics or AI, machine learning and this kind of stuff, you need to involve people that are coming from the different areas. So it's about so the people who are coming from the legal part of the bank, from the compliance part of the bank. We need to also to check, what the things that we are working on, the hypothesis we are working on. We have to figure out, to what extent we are where we are when it comes to at the end of the day, respecting what needs to be respected, and that's the ethics. I think when you come to the basics, you come to at the end of the day, no matter whether you have the regulation or not, you come to the ethics. And I think like in a life, whatever you do, you always have to have in mind the ethics. Might sound strange that the banker is talking about the ethics, but without integrity, whatever kind of business you are doing on the long run, if you do not stick to integrity and the ethics, you are dead. This is how I see it.
I totally agree on that. Now, maybe we can just go to the ethical part, that unbiased and fair AI is very closely related to banking as a whole, because biased model may cause someone not to get the loan they need to start in their own business or to help them to solve some of their problems. As a matter of fact, more and more we have become stressed about ethical use of AI. And like you said, I totally agree on that ethics should be on the first place. I think that people are starting to realize this. And my question for you, how do you deal with this topic, and on what level the topic of ethical use of analytics and AI is important to your occupation?
First of all, there are certain group directives. When you're a member of the group, then you have to stick to your own regulation. Okay. Plus, you have the regulation that are coming from the EU. I mean, the GDPR is the last one that is extremely of a huge importance for the bank, and this is the thing you need to take care. Additional, on the top of everything, the EU is on the road basically to introduce the new regulation until 2024. So. We already have some working groups who are basically taking a look at the subject and what is to propose, and we'll try to accommodate along the road. But as I said, I mean, ethic is a big bone, is a backbone of a thing, and. Also, there is a role of the board, and the people are coming, and sometimes, I mean, not sometimes, we discuss about these things, we take a look at the hypothesis. Sometimes there are also different opinions to what extent we could go further, etc., etc. So sometimes there is no clear cut, and then you need to have the possibility basically to go until the top and to make then the decision on the top. But as I said, the thing that you need to stick with is quite the logical thing. It's the ethical part, and there, I mean, if you have that in mind, I don't think that you will end up in having the problems. But the regulation for the bank is really huge. I mean, talking about the data, the cloud, etc. The way how also the central bank is tackling the issues. Okay. Where you have to go through a huge cumbersome process when it comes to the approving of the outsourcing of the let's say I remember the data lake that we are having in the Amazon cloud, etc. It's a huge cumbersome process, huge regulation. But at the end, I think regulation is not bad for us and for the banks. I think it helps us, and saving our skin for a lot of troubles. And we have seen many problems that are now that we see now facing in a big technology companies. I mean, you recently hear about the stories related to the Facebook, etc., and the way how they are dealing with the things. So maybe it sounds perverse, but I think in one way, being regulator, being bank, I think it helped a lot as well.
Yeah, I know you're talking about Facebook or Meta, I don't know. But the thing is, okay, I would like to digress a bit, because when we are talking about the bank and about technology, I would like also to ask you one question. What is your take on cryptocurrency?
Look, I'll tell you. I mean, it's. I cannot say anything from the point of the Raiffeisen. So this is my private opinion, but it's like maybe you're gonna be shocked, but I think it's worthless. I think it's also another thing that is saving the planet. The huge energy is spending. So, you know, I see people preaching about the ECG and this kind of thing, and they are hooked on the crypto. And how can you be, you know?
Of course.
So I think it's worthless because there is no limit in the price where that asset could go. So you can, I mean, technically it could go to zero, you know, and we saw that there is a huge volatility. And the question is like, is it really a good thing to invest when you have such a huge volatility? You don't have any asset backing, you know, on that one. So I think more or less I agree what the CEO of the JP Morgan, Jimmy Dimon, said, that it's worthless. But on the other hand side, I mean, we have other adults, people who are interesting, you know, in trading, in having it, etc., etc. So I think the role of the bankers should be basically also to provide the service to these people, you know. So banks are currently shy enough to provide, let's say, custody services, but they are providing other types of the services like the brokerage, this kind of stuff. And I think this is the field fields that the banks can do a lot, because there are adults, customers who are interested in the product. If you just sit on the side, you know, you will not feel the heat.
Okay, this is very interesting take. With this, I would also like to come back to what is the topic, and we will continue with the role of CEO in establishing data-driven culture. So my question is, digital transformation has been an important topic in the last couple of years, maybe even a decade now when we talk about it. How does the process of digital transformation look inside of a bank? Okay.
To what extent it is important, just like to mention one sentence from one of the recent reports done by McKinsey. You know, these guys are saying that added value for banking industry, the added value of the AI and advanced analytics yearly is coming to the level of 1.8 trillion US dollars. 1.8 trillion US dollars. So I think, you know, the time is coming when you would be it would be very hard that you see in any kind of a developments of your service in a product where basically you do not involve the AI and AA. It's going to be really tough. So what is the role of the CEO? I think, you know, what I saw and I mentioned on the DBS, that guy is the best in class, because he make a turnaround. He said to people, we need to forget everything. You know, sometimes sometimes you need to de-learn. I don't think I think it's a right word. Yeah, there is a relearn, but sometimes you simply need to, you know, forget what you know. I think, you know, the guy came up with this philosophy of like, we need to act like a fintech. Look, we cannot here, and I'm not that type of the guy. I'm not coming from the IT industry, but I try to learn from the best. I think what is basically helping here is the following thing. The experience I had visiting the bank helped me, you know, to address the issue of like learning. You need to learn. And this is in the foundation of our transformation map related to the people and the culture and organization. It's a learning. So what we done, like when I returned, I said to my guys, I went through a program, our training program, and I saw that maybe it's not appropriate, but I'll tell you, what was my feeling. And I said, like, wow, we have a lot of shitty things on this program, like addressing some psychological things that people are overburdened with the business, etc., etc. I think, like, we need to stop to invest in this kind of stuff, We need to invest in something which is bold. We need more knowledge. We need that people are having at least basic knowledge about what is the cloud, what is the data-driven organization, what are the new models of business in banking, AI, artificial intelligence, you name it. So what we done, and I said, each and every head in the bank has to go through it. So first the captain and the rest. I wanted to show with my example that
Of course.
Everybody has to do it. So if you are now employed in our bank, you have to go through the Raiffeisen Digital Academy. We have made a very good program which is lasting 3 days. We were looking for support, and we team up with the two companies, the Grow IT and the ICT Hub. We picked and selected the guys. We also with I think the 50 people from the bank were involved in making the curriculum, which lasts 3 days. But the good thing about the curriculum is it's not just a bad theory. It's coming also with the clear examples that things that we are doing in practice. So every story is followed by the thing what we are doing in practice, the concrete thing, the thing that people are touch, feel, hear, that affecting currently our customers, that are affecting our back offices, that are affecting our end-to-end procedures, etc. So I think that's the way how we are addressing the things. And plus, of course, we are having our classical kind of corporate structures which are helping us also to address it.
This is very, very important thing we have just said. I would like to emphasize the thing that people often do think that people who are in a lead, like CEO position, that they are just like CEO, they don't need to invest their time in learning, etc. And basically, I think that what is happening, and correct me if I'm wrong, in the last 5 years, that people who are on the leading position, they need to start leading by example, like you are doing basically. So my question is, how important is the role of CEO, in your opinion, in establishing this data-driven culture? And what were some of the challenges that you personally needed to overcome during this process?
Look, the corporates are, you have the leaders, and people are following the leaders, in different, not just in the businesses, in the politics, you name it. So you need to lead by the example. If you don't know, you need to learn. If you came up to the situation that whatever you learned in the past is not valid anymore, you have to undo what you learned. So it's not easy. I mean, it's just simply not part of your day-to-day job. You need you cannot forget that you are running a business. You have to satisfy your shareholders. You have a clear goals. You have a clear KPIs that you need to fulfill on the one hand side. But on the other hand side, you need to think about how to transform your company, because in the mid run or the long run, unless you adapt to the newcomers, to the new generation of the customers, you're going to be simply that. So I think the role of the CEO is to be bold on these topics. The role is to be first in the line. The role of the CEO is also to empower people. I think also the one important thing is the role of the CEO. You need to also to fight with your own vanity. The more you climb, the vanity is becoming bigger. Okay. So you need to be surrounded with the people, which is sometimes easy to say, hard to do, that are more clever than you are. That's the only way how you can grow. basically.
Okay.
So I'm happy, basically, and you need to empower. But it does not have to, I mean, when I say empower, it's not empower on the people, on the paper. You really need to empower these guys. So they know that they have the things in their hands and that they are able to make decisions, you know. If you make them less power, then basically they will feel insecure. So that was that is my role. So preach, learn, empower, be surrounded with the smarter people than you are, because also when you are surrounded with the smarter people, that's the only way how you can grow as well, you know.
Of course. And
I don't know whether it's the good answer, but it's
no, it's a good answer. But what
this is how I see it.
also one thing? What is your some of the, let's say some of the maybe from personal side? What were some of the things that you need to overcome in this learning path? What was some of and you're proud of yourself because you think that it was like very hard to do it and you managed to do so.
I think, as I mentioned, you know, I think you need to give up from the vanity.
Okay.
Maybe it sounds strange, but I think it's extremely important, you know.
Okay.
I think it's so important also I mean, but this is one of these soft skills that you have. Like you need also to be ready to listen, but really to listen, you know. And I think if you're in these kind of modes, then you know you can do the things, you can move the things. And as I said, you have to be ready to unlearn certain things. So is it easy? You know, everybody is coming with prejudice, you know, and it's not easy to fight with that. But what is helping is when you're surrounded with the smart people than you are, then it's of course it's helpful. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Right now, what we are going to do, we're having a Q&A part. So basically, I would just like to ask, does anybody have any questions from the public? Don't be shy. You can really ask whatever you would like. We have 5 more minutes for this session. Okay. Milos? Okay, you can understand that most of you already know by names.
Thank you. So thank you for your talk. It was really inspiring. So I would just like to add to how you started the presentation. I think it's a good message that we see CEO of a bank speaking here today. So my question is basically we face, like all of us that are hiring currently for data positions, data engineers, data scientists, etc. It's quite challenging to find the good people and get them excited for the projects and for the things you're working on. So what's your strategy for this, and any tips or tricks, or what are your thoughts on how to get great talent and how to get people inspired to work on this strategy?
You have to come to these guys. So one of the reasons I'm here is that one. You need to show your face. You need to go to universities. You need to come up with the cases. You need to organize some hackathons, datathons, or whatever. You need to approach the guys. Not an easy for bankers. Why? Because people do believe that it's a boring, bureaucratic business, etc., etc. You need to show them. You need to drive them and show them, like, hey, it's not boring. It's a different thing. I'm not saying that there are no legacy banks, that there are not boring banks, that there are no bureaucratic banks, etc., etc. There are different kind of businesses. What I'm trying to do is like also to present ourselves as an institution which is fully open towards these talents. You know, it would be hard for me to preach about it, but I have also people who are living these things every day. So the best way, you know, is that these guys coming out, standing and preaching. Is it easy? It's not easy. I mean, I know that we are in a hiring mode. Currently, we have a team of nine, and we are hiring 4 more. And I think, you know, one of the reasons you see a Raiffeisen booth over there is that one as well. So this is how we do it. I don't have the magic stick. I'm happy that I don't see other bankers. Really, I'm happy, you know. So, and on your question, where is, you know, where do we stand, to what extent we are maturing that, I think this is also a kind of a thing that shows us where we are, you know. We are far away from being mature. I think the others are doing some of these things through the classical CRM actions, etc., but the smarters are doing in a different way. I mean, I didn't came with the things that we are doing, but if anybody is interested, of course, I mean, people are here around. I may later on answer on a question, what are currently the things that we are working on.
Basically, I just want to say that we have a few speakers, let's say a few speakers, 4 speakers from Raiffeisen that's showing up what the Raiffeisen has been doing, basically not only in the field of machine learning, AI, but also as well as quantum. Yesterday we have Vyacheslav talking about that. But also we have people from other bank present, like as attendees. So, but still we didn't this kind of partnership established with them.
I'm grateful for my guys and my colleagues who basically took a participation. I'm proud that they've been able to show what we are working on, so that people do feel, you know, what's going on in the banking industry.
Thank you for that. Okay, do you have any additional questions? Okay, Nebojša. As you can see, I know.
Oh, hi, my name is Nebojša, coming from Digital Serbia. We could chat about it, but it's fun to put you on the spot. Sorry. So a lot of people in this room and your bank worked very hard to increase our screen time versus our face time with the bankers. And you're getting even better in analyzing the data we leave on the screen, in giving us the next best offer and stuff that you recognize through our data what we need. But you know, these conversations we used to have with the people that were very often annoying but sometimes useful, opened up for new products, for new way of thinking and stuff like that. How can we address that? Because this is not just a question for Raiffeisen Bank, but wider. How to go back to a moment when you offer something that is not in my data pattern available, and how are you thinking about this? And are you talking about this on the level that you sit in a bank?
So, if I understand you well, I think it's about how also to cooperate with the world that is outside of the banking world. How to cooperate between the startups or fintechs and the banking community. How to grow these things. That's a very good question. I don't have a clear answer, but it comes to what kind of institution you are, you know. If you would like to be, you know, what is your vision? What is your mission, you know? If you want to be innovative, you know, if you want to be on a path of being innovative, you know, you got to do it. You have to find these guys, and it would be very good also that we have structures which could help us basically to get in touch. Sometimes we are missing the structures, and I think what Digital Serbia is doing well, and what is you know, providing also structure for these kind of things. So I don't know whether whether I managed to answer your question. You know.
Okay.
But it's like on the business side, there has to be also understanding, you know, what is in there for us, what we can do. And sometimes also, you know, it's not just purely about a calculation, whether that will bring more money, etc., etc. Sometimes it's about entering in something that could be a failure as well. And it's easy to say, but hard to accept that the failure is okay. Quite often, you know, particularly when you're coming from the corporate industry where everything is budget driven, the figures and everything, you know. But we have to also to learn that, you know, if you spend a couple of thousands left, right, you know, and it is a failure, okay, fine, you know, failure, okay, we're not happy, but maybe we can learn the things out of the failures as well. I think, you know, what we learned in Raiffeisen is that we came up basically with, that's not so known, with one of the first fully online digital bank, which was Zuno. And Zuno failed, you know, after a couple of years. Why? Because it failed because it was in hands of a bloody bankers, in our hands. That's why it failed. It was a good story. And I think there is a lot of things we can learn out of that story as well. So I think, in other words, we need to also come up with a different kind of structure where we can, when we can put it together, the startups, the fintechs, and the classical corporates. And I think for this country, it's so important.
Okay. Once again, I think with this question we have time up a little bit. We are behind the scene, but that's totally fine because this was very interesting questions. I would like to thank you, Zoran, once again for accepting our call. It's very nice to see CEO of one big corporation here as a stage, Data Science Conference as well. And for sure, if you have some question, don't hesitate to talk with Zoran. He will be staying a little bit more with us today. And with this, once again, thank you for accepting our call.
Thanks.
Mhm.